Hey, everybody. It is Sherry Tutkus, the Green Nurse, and welcome to the Green Nurse Podcast, where you all know what we do. We bring hope and inspiration for growth and healing. And I cannot even believe it is the end of the year. I actually am all dressed up. This is my New Year's Eve outfit for tonight. And just truly grateful. I want to thank all of the 2020 guests, including nurses, doctors, patients, advocates, and activists. You know, you've come on to share your story of healing with plant medicine. It is your compelling stories that are decreasing stigma and saving lives around all of those progressive therapies that we share. Your voice, your story, your healing are all essential and drives our passion for creating education for healing. So this is the last Wednesday night show of 2020, and this show is truly dedicated to all nurses. The World Health Assembly designated 2020 to be the International Year of the Nurse and Midwife to honor the 200th anniversary of Florence Nightingale's birth and to advance the nurse's vital role in transforming healthcare around the world. So I've been a nurse, you guys ready for this? 32 years. Ouch, right? And 2020 was definitely probably the most challenging year. And I wasn't even working in the traditional system or even in the hospital. You know, I see you nurses, I hear you nurses, I feel for you, I cry with you all, and I'm sending you all big, giant love. I'll probably start bawling. But here we are. So we're celebrating all nurses. I'm giving my gratitude to you all. I spent so much time in the hospital. And we're here to tell you about cannabis nursing. You know, I want to end the year celebrating cannabis nurses because we have done some extraordinary, amazing things during this year. Thank you, plant medicine. And it makes true sense to give thanks and gratitude so we can keep ushering in those high vibes for healing. So tonight I've invited CEO and founder of the Cannabis Nurses Network, Heather Sobel, to help me wrap up the Year of the Nurse by honoring all nurses and recognizing some of our cannabis nursing colleagues who have done some amazing, extraordinary things in 2020. So a little bit about Heather. Heather's been a true mentor of mine for the longest time. Whenever I saw those long braids on the cover of the magazine, it was just amazing. And then her story truly inspired me. And just watching her over the years, and then being a founder of the, one of the founding members of the Cannabis Nurses Network, truly, being inspired by Nurse Heather and all that she's doing has given me the confidence to do what I'm doing now. So Heather Manis is a native New Mexican, and she began her career as a psychiatric home care nurse. She has an extensive background and experience in natural healing modalities and herbal remedies, some of which she obtained from her close association with Hispanic and Native American healers in New Mexico. Her vast knowledge and holistic approach to individualized patient care has been the cornerstone of her success as a nurse, educator, entrepreneur, and promoter of health. She is the CEO and founder of the Cannabis Nurses Network and has helped me and many other nurses grow both personally and professionally. Welcome, Heather. I'm so grateful to have you on today.
Thank you, Sherry. It's so fun to watch you thriving and hosting like a pro, and your shows are entertaining and informative. And I thank you so much for all that you do, honey. We're all so proud of you and how, shining like the bright star you are. So
I got to tell you, this is it. This plant, truly, you taught me about this. This plant saved my life, and you put this into my head, and I educate nurses and health professionals that are truly interested in working with plant medicine. You need to think about who you serve, right? Do you serve spirit or do you serve your ego? And we're serving spirit. We serve the plant, we serve patients, and we serve the planet, and really you've taught me about that. And you've taught me things that I know that I would never learn in a book. You truly have inspired me to look at how we care for patients in a different way. I mentioned this, it's the biopsychosocial, spiritual aspects of healing. And as clinicians, we're taught to connect with patients' body parts and symptoms and disease processes. We rarely ever get to mental, emotional, psychological health. And if we're lucky, we'll get to the spiritual aspect of healing. So you taught me how to reverse that and to how to reach a patient by connecting with their spirit first. So that, to me, I just want to say thank you.
You're so welcome. And it makes it a lot easier for yourself and the patient when you're able to do that, right? And sometimes we just get stuck in our ways, and the way that healthcare has become, that it's very symptom focused, and systems focused, like you say very often. And really, it's the whole shebang is going on. And if we don't address what's going on,
yes,
we don't address what's going on with a person's spirit and where they are with things. I mean, truly, the spirit drives what our mental thoughts are and how we're thinking and how we're perceiving the world. It's our spirit. You know, if we have a healthy spirit, our thoughts are healthy. If we have a broken, hurt, sick spirit, our thoughts will reflect that. And so with our thoughts, we know that mind becomes, thoughts become things, and we can manifest just with our own thoughts. A lot of times, a lot of these dis-eases that are going on that really just stem from somebody being hurt or shamed or scared or in fear of one thing or another.
Unprocessed emotions around trauma, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. You know it, girl. Anyway,
you know it. So Cannabis Nurses Network. So 2020 was the year of the nurse, and I'm truly here to honor Cannabis Nurses Network. You guys have done some extraordinary things. Truly, truly, truly has been like a true inspiration for me, to be that change agent. As 2020 started, none of us ever expected to have a pandemic. And boy, did things have to shift and change and adapt. And that's what we've learned about plant medicine, especially cannabis. It's an adaptogen. So how appropriate was it that you guys were able to just create and manifest and offer and adapt how you work in the community with nurses? And so let's talk about all the awesome things that you did this year.
Yeah, it wasn't me, it was us, right? It's like we really accomplished as a network. The point of a network is having amazing people all doing their own individual kick butt thing, and then bringing their energy and their support and their love and their experience and knowledge to the rest of the group. And that's what really makes the network amazing. And so together, we really pulled together. You were right there with us, Sherry. You took on the Speakers Bureau that was completely virtual. We transitioned from a stage presentation to you had to record your own video and produce that. And like, hello, what is all of this tech stuff that we had to do? But as a network, we adapted. Like you said, we shifted and we utilized technology and the platform that we already knew we had to be online as a network. And amazingly, we were ready when this hit. And so that was a cool part about it, is everybody showed up, used the tools, and just knocked it out of the ballpark. I felt like a revolution in healthcare being the title that we had chosen all the way early in 2019 before we knew about a pandemic in 2020. But that conference was so powerful, with the speakers like yourself, the traditional healers, the Knox docs, all of the amazing nurses that spoke. It was phenomenal. We could have done it any better in any other format. So success on that, having to pivot from a live event to a online conference.
The thing that I love too that you did also during the pandemic is you not only offered the people that purchased the ticket this year that went virtually, that same ticket they can use next year for the in-person, which we're manifesting. So that was really, really generous. I think that that's amazing and wonderful, because, we want to get the word out there and to be able to offer, because there is something really powerful about being in person too.
Absolutely.
Really.
Well, when this whole thing hit, if you recall, like in February and March, and we realized that our nurses were under stress. I was taking phone calls from nurses every day of the week, and these stories were just tragic. And knowing what each nurse was doing kind of by themselves, that's when we started the roundtables on Friday nights. We said, look, this is weird for all of us. We're now locked down. We can't go anywhere. Friday night is kind of a bummer. So let's put a support, net there. So on Friday evenings, all of us as nurses would gather together. We would report on what our week had been like as this pandemic was just starting and things were happening and a lot of unknowns. And it really became such a great, I look forward to our Friday evening discussions because I felt connected to our family. And that's really what I feel that the network has become. They are an extension of my family. I love every single member. I love everyone that's participating and doing what they're doing in their own world. Us the opportunity to grow with them. So including you, Sherry, thank you for having me today too.
Oh my God, this is just so amazing. And the thing too, that's so important about the network and, these organizations of nurses is that it can be very lonely out there, right? So you have this conviction, the cannabis, she wasn't even a cannabis nurse, the 75-year-old nurse that introduced me to medical cannabis, truly, she said, there's knowing, and then there's knowing with a capital K. And then she says there's truth and there's truth with a capital T. And so she basically said to me, you know the truth, you have the inner knowing. So, so it's a lonely out there because not everyone else is in the space that you're in. So she was just like so excited. She goes, how exciting. There's cannabis nurses that have meetings and groups. And she was like,
yeah, it was wonderful. And then, the speakers like yourself, we did a webinar series. So after the conference, everyone who was a speaker, they were given an hour to just elaborate on what they had to say during the conference to, promote your companies and your businesses and the work that you're doing. So we really are trying to make sure that everybody's efforts are, appreciated and recognized and supported, because the better each one of us do, it's that rising tide raises all ships. The better all of us do, the further we're going to get down the line, because, we've got mainstream nursing to tackle here.
Oh, I know. Truly, truly, truly. Well, the part that I love too about you and your network is, and it's like, you get it. It's like, leaders create leaders. And that's what you're doing. You're creating cannabis nurse leaders. You're creating an army, because it's truly us in the communities, educating our communities, families, having these little consulting businesses, whatever we're doing. It's going to be a critical mass. And that's when it's going to start to infiltrate into the traditional system.
Well, yeah. And truly, Sherry, like, I'm not getting any older. I mean, I'm not getting any younger. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not getting any older. That's a good affirmation.
I like that one. I'm good with that.
Truly, we have to help the next generation get it quicker than we got it, and have some systems in place to provide them with opportunities, because I won't always be a voice here to do this. But I want to know that there are other people that get it, and that they've felt my love, and that they know that they can do this, and that they have a community of other nurses that are rooting them on, so that it's not just one person, it's us, it's we, it's our network.
Yes.
Family members who love each other and truly want to see each other succeed. So,
I love it. I absolutely love it. So a couple of other things that you've done too. You have your own radio show podcast. So Good News with Nurse Heather, which is great. You've been doing that for a while, and then you started doing it up again. So I want to tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, no, you were a guest on our show. It was, thank you for doing it. You were our last show of 2020. So that was fabulous. Love you so much. Yeah, no, Good News with Nurse Heather on cannabisradio.com has been something. When Cannabis Radio first started, they were kind of looking to have people. And so I was right there at the very beginning and did a show for a few years and got burned out and kind of just fell off with it. I mean, I guess that happens when you have too much on your plate. Some of the food falls off. So that one kind of fell off for a couple of years, and we revived it in 2020 because we needed another platform for our nurses to be able to speak out and have our voices heard. And that was a perfect platform for it. So it's been a lot of fun having all the Cannabis Nurses Network Speakers Bureau members come and be guests on the podcast. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's so great. It's just the part that's great too is, who do you talk to this about? You know what I mean? Like, it's like connecting with other nurses that are doing it, and then sharing the message and getting different perspectives. is really, it's just great just for everyone to have their voice and everyone's perspective and experience and how they're working with the plant and what they're doing in the communities as nurses is awesome. Truly, truly awesome. So what I loved too is that you had a little party at the end of the year to celebrate all the nurses. That was so much fun.
Yes. Well, we needed to have this celebration because like you said, 2020 was the year of the nurse. We feel totally ripped off. Like that's not how we expected to have our year go, but we definitely shined because once again, Gallup polls came in, nurses ranked at the top by a lot, the most trusted and ethical profession. And we humbly are grateful for that honor of having the general public feel that way about us because we are ethical and we are honest and we do say it like it is and we do the best we can. And so, yeah, nurses are awesome. So we had our Cannabis Nurses Network appreciation celebration.
Yes.
And we did it on a new platform that was just a lot of fun. It had a speed working function to it where you could just kind of like,
pop in and out and connect with people. Yeah, you never knew who you were going to get. You were like, okay, I'm in this room. Who's going to show up? Boom.
Santa, right?
I got Santa. I did meet with Santa, actually. That was kind of fun.
So you never know who you're going to meet. So that was really neat. And then we had an opportunity to do a vendor thing. So everybody who has a company was able to put their information out there with a little video about their company, which was phenomenal. We had a DJ Rae Toast from LA, was just so spot on.
Best.
Was fun, wasn't she?
Yeah. Fun? I follow her now. She's really, really, really talented, gifted, spirited. You can just see the spirit moving through her. You know what I mean?
Well, she's a yoga instructor. So she's a yoga and she does a lot of that virtually. So if anyone's interested in someone who, lays out the dope vibes, go check out DJ Rae Toast. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it was just really cool to connect with everybody and do kind of a year in review of what we've done and how we've got here. And that was special for me, actually, Sherry, to be honest with you. It wasn't something that I was excited about doing because I thought, man, I have to sit and think about all this stuff. But when I sat down and started thinking about all this stuff, it's like, wow, we have come so far and we have so much further yet to go. Oh. And I'm really, really inspired. And I trust that we are going to get there. It may not be fast. I prefer faster than what we're, but
kind of like take your time, but hurry up.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. It's like, come on, healthcare system, get with it. It's time for a revolution. Like we're here. It's time. The way you're treating patients, the way the system's working, it's obviously broken. And that's okay. There's no fault. There's no nothing, whatever. It just, it's time for a change. It's time to empower our patients. And that's why I'm so grateful to all of the Cannabis Nurses Network members that are out there and just all the cannabis nurses in general. Anyone who identifies the endocannabinoid system and they're implementing that in their practice, talking to their patients, their coworkers, their peers, their colleagues. We honor all cannabis nurses for all the work that they're doing, and definitely invite anyone who's ready to take their professional development to the next level. Come and join with Cannabis Nurses Network and come see what we're about, and let us love on you for a little while.
Yes, come share the love with us. And so we also had some awards too, which was really nice, or awards or recognition, just to show, some of the amazing things. So let's talk about a couple of them. But first I want to give a shout out. I'll let you get that list out, but I want to give a shout out to some nurses. Kathleen Graham, www.cannabisnurse.com. So she's a colleague, a cannabis nurse colleague, and I presented with her at the Cannabis Nurses Network conference. And our topic was cannabinoids and pharmaceuticals. And she did a great section. I did a section on pharmaceutical trauma, which was really interesting. So that was wonderful. I want to give a big shout out to her. Thank you so much for working with me.
Amazing. Good job.
Yeah, that was good. And then I want to give a big shout out to my girl, Nick Pichette, the Cannabis Nurse Navigator and the creator of Positively Processing Perception. She has been doing some extraordinary work in the community, bridging the gap from the traditional system to new ways of managing mental health and trauma.
She's getting it done, man. I mean, I look at her, like I said, every nurse is doing something incredible. But when you talk specifically about Neek, she is like breaking down barriers in a way that I wasn't sure would ever be able to happen. And she's doing it so subtly and so brilliantly in her approach of how she's using a more holistic manner within a psychiatric inpatient hospital. And the upper management, the CEO of the company, like they are paying attention. They see what it's doing, and it
works. Her program
really
works.
It's thrilling to be able to watch her implement that into the real world nursing setting. And, I give her a huge round of applause.
Me too. Very, very grateful to have been, participated in that platform of learning and being able to apply the concepts to, how I take care of patients now, so it's really phenomenal. And then Sandra, the Cush nurse, I'm going to have you introduce her properly. Sandra
Gwines. I know her name is kind of hard to say.
No, I'm sorry.
I said it wrong a million times. I even said it wrong during the conference. And so I had called Sandra and I said, okay, get it right with me. And she says, it's Wines with a G. So
Gwines. So anyway, goes as the Cush nurse. She's amazing. She's all over social media as well. And what I really love is that she's the co-founder of Cannabis Nurses of Color. So that was a really, really, really powerful thing to create, very needed as well. And she's been doing some great work at Cannabis Nurses Network presenting as well. So I'm excited we're going to be in touch with her and get her on the podcast next year.
You really should. She's got a great story. Yeah.
Yes. Now I want to mention really quickly, and then we'll get into the Cannabis Nurses Network because I have my list here. Let's acknowledge some of the American Cannabis Nurses Association. So they actually had their CannaCare 2020 virtual conference. They elected new president or president-elect and new board of directors. So I want to acknowledge them. So Mark Wister was voted in as president-elect for the next year, and then he serves for 2 years, and then he's exiting president. So congratulations to Mark. And then there's 4 nurses that are now on the board of directors. Marissa Fertoni, holistic nurse mama. She's amazing. Jessalyn Dolan, nurse grown organics. Michael Harvey and Shawnice Henry. So these are all new board of directors for the American Cannabis Nurses Association. Dr. Carrie Clark, I think tomorrow is her last day as the exiting president. And I want to congratulate her on Clark's Cannabis, a handbook for nurses. So we started writing that book. She's the main writer, and she asked a lot of the nurses to participate, be co-writers of this book, this first cannabis nursing handbook that's going to be available everywhere. So it was really, really an honor to be asked to participate in that. And actually Nurse Heather's in there. We shared your story. So that's really great. And that book is going to be coming out the beginning of January. And we're going to actually have Dr. Clark on in the next couple of weeks to share about that book. So I think I nailed everyone. I'm going to thank the green nurses later, but let's talk about the Cannabis Nurses Network Awards recognition. And
okay, you keep me on track, girl. I know you've got your agenda, and I'm just here to chat. So
no, I know.
I'm chatty Kathy over here.
Well, that's the thing. The reason why I have my notes is because I can get off topic and I can just wander because I could just keep talking and talking. So I have to stick to the agenda because I've been told we're supposed to keep it, less than an hour.
Okay. All right. I think we're out there.
Okay. All right. So the awards, Cannabis Nurses Network Educator of the Year.
We had several nominees in that category. Sandra Gwines was nominated, May Poe, Matt Cassio, Lisa Buchanan, Jana Champagne, Lisa Hadeen, and Marcy Cooper. And the winner was Jana Champagne as 2020 CNN Educator of the Year.
Yes, she's been doing some amazing things in the cannabis space, creating college courses, developing a product line, to support a nonprofit, just doing really, really great work. And she was on the Green Nurse podcast, and I'm sure she's been on your podcast too.
Oh yeah, no, she's doing such wonderful work in the university setting. We're very, very proud of Jana and her advancement with the higher education.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then we have the Cannabis Nurses Network Advocate of the Year.
Yay. So there's lots of advocates, do you want me to read them through, or should we just talk about Deb? Because
let's just talk about Deb. Let's talk about Deb and what they're doing.
Deb was such a rock star this last year, and she's really heading up a bunch of the advocacy work that CNN is involved with. She's got a group that's doing some really great work within the network for nursing protections. And so we honored her as a very nominated. She was nominated a lot, and she won by quite a bit in this category. So we're grateful to Deb for all of her work.
Yay. Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much, Deb. And then we have the Cannabis Nurses Network Contributor of the Year.
And that would be our lovely, lovely Starlight. She's our tech guru, our business brain, our, help us get all the stuff out of my head and our nurses' heads and help make the real systems and tools work so that we have a space to do what we do. And she was nominated and won as our Contributor of the Year award. So we're grateful to her.
That's awesome. And then, wow. Someone I know won the Cannabis Nurses Network Leader of the Year.
Yeah, who could that have been? Maybe someone who has an award-winning podcast.
You were it. CNN Leader of the Year.
I thought you were talking about Entrepreneur of the Year.
No,
you were talking about one another.
I know, isn't that awesome? That's right. We're elevating one another.
Yes. So I was nominated as the CNN Leader of the Year. That was really, I don't need awards. I just want to, I really get off on other people self-actualizing. And so if there's something that I'm doing that's helping to inspire others to self-actualize, it's my honor. But more than anything else, I just love watching all of our nurses succeed in what they're doing and want to lend a hand however I can.
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. So thank you so much. Seriously. I will
talk about the Entrepreneur of the Year award.
Yeah, you can. I'm not going to lie. I was surprised, but you know what? Afterwards, I looked at fucking all the shit I did this year and I'm like, fuck yeah.
I deserve that.
Yeah. And then it was like, you know what? I'm embracing that. You know what I mean? I gave my heart and soul to patients, to providers. Just think, I taught my third college course as a guest lecturer. I presented at the CNN conference, presented at ACNA conference, contributing writer to the Cannabis Nurses textbook. We transitioned over to full telehealth services for consultations with or without medical cards. We expanded to Iowa, Maine, Vermont, and New York. We expanded our services to help providers. We've increased we just got 2 pediatric providers that are going to be working with us in Massachusetts. Really excited. I haven't made that announcement yet. But then also too, this is amazing. Like, this to me is like, if I died tomorrow, I know that I lived my best life. That's the bottom line. And it's just the stuff that, like I said, it's, I'm not an egomaniac, but I'll tell you what, my ego feels good. It's just nice, just to be acknowledged. I've done more as a cannabis nurse than I have done my entire nursing career.
Yeah. And it all builds on itself. And like I said, the years in cannabis feels like dog years. It's like 1 year is equal to 7, and you get so much, so fast, so quickly. And the lessons are just continual, and you deserve this award, and we are so proud of you. And just for full disclosure, this is a completely transparent. We asked for nominations. People submitted nominations. Anyone submitted was put out there. And during our appreciation celebration, the nurses that attended were able to vote right then and there during the party. And so at the end of the party, whoever had the most votes won. And we were so proud of you for the winner this year.
Thank you. And so, and that's the part that's, for me, I look at it as it's a win for the organization, truly, because, people believe in the mission to relieve suffering and improve quality of life. People believe in the vision, which is to expand plant medicine everywhere, not only just plant medicine, but other progressive therapies that support and nourish the endocannabinoid system, and so truly, like the Entrepreneur of the Year award, I completely 100% am so grateful, but it's an award that goes to all of the nurses in our organization, because they are helping me to actualize it. They're putting the different moving pieces of the pie together. It takes a village, and every single nurse that's working with us has their gifts and their strengths and their talents, and they're helping us to build something on the East Coast that I'm so proud of to share with the world. So I'm just going to acknowledge them really quickly. So Nurse Mark Wister, he's the co-founder and he's my business partner. And he's been helping me to grow as an entrepreneur and to grow this platform. He has a business background, but he's also a nurse. And he's just magnificent. He's truly been inspirational in helping to guide and direct the moving pieces. I'm a nurse, you know what I mean? Like, this is all new to me. Business is new to me. And then Nurse Jamie Rollins. So she's a cannabis nurse, hospice. She's a trailblazer in the progressive therapies. And she's bringing other progressive therapies to our Green Nurse platform, such as the ketamine treatments, which we haven't fully disclosed yet. But these are things that are going to truly be helping patients. Carrie Lee Lohr, I want to thank her. She's Green Nurse Iowa. She has been trailblazing in Iowa, 100% out there, making a difference, sharing her story, taking care of patients, helping patients get their medical cards. Amazing. We have Denise Costello, who is also absolutely amazing. She's brought in a new technology to the Green Nurse platform called Healy. So we're all about energy, light, and information. You all know that. Reiki, reconnective healing. We're into all of those things. And Healy is this new microcurrent device that we are now incorporating into some of our sessions for patients. So she's the leader of that pack. We have Michelle Morris, who's a nurse. She's doing amazing things. She's just absolutely brilliant. Really, really good at working with patients and educating. And then Caitlin Bernard and Julie Tell are two nurse practitioners that also certify patients and do consultation. So it's really all of us together, all of these minds that are coming together for one purpose: patients.
Yeah,
right?
No, great work.
And
applause. So proud of you all for everything you're doing to help further the mission of revolutionizing healthcare, providing patient empowerment, and really, utilizing nature as your go-to for health and well-being.
So we have a lot to look forward to in 2021. If we can get through 2020, thank you, plant medicine, all of the plants. Right? We can do this. We did it. We got through it. And, truly, the future of healthcare, as Heather has said, is patient empowerment. And as nurses, we are dedicated to you to help you understand the endocannabinoid system so you can use this plant in any way you choose to use it to live your best life.
Yeah.
So Nurse Heather, this has been awesome.
Thank you. You caught me straight off the desert. So I think I had told you I just got home a little bit ago. I've been out in the desert.
So tell us about the desert. What have you been doing in the desert?
I feel like Jim Morrison, really is.
You look great. Wait, show everyone your braids. I don't think people.
Yeah, they go down for a little ways, but so there's this. I'm working on a project that I've been working on for a long time, and it's out in the desert of Inyo. It's in California. It's near Death Valley. So growing cannabis in Death Valley area and having a dispensary and all the other little beautiful things that come along with doing business in the cannabis industry in the desert is very, very interesting and fun. And it's been a great challenge. And as things are moving and progressing further, it's just really fun to be out there. And so our business partner has a hot springs called Delights Hot Springs, and it's in Tacoma, California. And these waters are magical. We call it alien water because there's a lot of like alien activity. I mean, it's Death Valley, it's weird out there. It's just
good. My kind of town.
Cool, juicy vibes, and
yeah.
This water is amazing. And I've been to hot springs all over the world, and this is really my favorite water that I've ever been in. So I spent the last couple of days soaking in this water that just seems to clear your receptors in your brain.
You look like you're glowing. I mean, you look very refreshed.
I feel good. I'm a little tired because it's like a 6-hour drive to get back home. And we were like, I've got to get home in time for my my time with Nurse Sherry. So thank you so much for having me. It's
thank you so much. Yes, this has been wonderful. And truly grateful to the Cannabis Nurses Network. Truly, truly grateful for Nurse Heather for being a trailblazer. She is one of the biggest trailblazers in the cannabis nursing space. And the part that I really love too is that it's not just about education, it's about connection, it's about compassion, it's about having fun, it's about friendships, and it's about elevating one another and being inclusive. And that's what I truly love about the network. It really exhibits what it means to lead and create leaders and to love one another and to be there for one another and to support one another.
Yeah, we really are leading one another. And so I feel so grateful to be around such wonderful humans. And I like to be around smart, successful people. And that's exactly who we're around with the Cannabis Nurses Network and our cannabis nursing community in general. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Happy New Year. Be smart, be safe, stay elevated, love one another. Lots of hugs and nugs to you all.
Hugs and hearts.
Hearts. Yes. And remember, everyone, it is about living your best life. Love you.